YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Rome 2. I've got another battle for you. This one's going to be a tournament battle. It was from the Domination Tournament. It's going to be Suebi versus Odrysian Kingdom, which is an interesting matchup. Both factions have low armor, high charge kind of focuses about them with unique support units. Both factions, though, are quite different. The Suebi are going to have access to far better spears, and units with a little bit more staying power, like a Swordmaster, whereas the Odrysians are going to basically sacrifice all for the charge, but their infantry also double as pretty good anti-cavalry units since they have the Rumphia and a plus 15 versus cavalry. I would say that the Suebians hold the edge in skirmishing if they're bringing these. Yep, they've brought the Germanic slingers, so that'll make things tricky for the Thracians, but not impossible, because the Thracians also have access to nice javelin units, pretty good jav cav. Now, the mercenary Germanic scout riders are probably a little bit faster than Thracian cavalry, but they don't have quite as good attack, I don't believe. But I mean, it'll be fairly close. But the Thracian player did not bring anything like what I would expect. So we'll see how this works out. There's 4 Thracian nobles in the back. There are a couple of Thracian cavalry making their way around the Suebian right flank. There's none on this side. I see, let's see, a Thracian horseman and a Thracian royal cav on those flanks there. They're being supported by a spear on each flank. Just a standard spear unit. There's Thracian slingers in the center. They're going to struggle versus Germanic slingers. And then we've got spears and Thracian warriors in the center to help out in this face-off. So we'll kind of just see what happens here. Let's take a look at the full Suebi army. A couple of Woden spears up front. That's an interesting unit to lead with. You wouldn't want them getting charged by any Thracian units, that's for sure, but they could also keep cavalry back pretty effectively. We've got 4 Germanic slingers up front. That is going to be a difficult skirmishing advantage for the Thracians to overcome. There's 4 Bloodsworn right behind that. They could be effective at soaking up charges, and then they are backed up by 1 Berserker in the back and a Noble Rider. And then you have Sword Masters on the flank, supported by Germanic Scout Riders and Spear Levy, so the flank's trying to be a little bit more autonomous for the Suebians. There's 3 Noble Riders in the center. That's a Sarmatian Horseman. What in the world? Didn't know you could get Sarmatian Horsemen. Don't know how that works. Sarmatian Horseman here again, too. Is this something in the tournament that they were allowed to do? Huh. Yeah, I don't know how the Suebians ended up with Sarmatian Horsemen here. So, interesting. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what that means or why they have them, but they do in this particular replay for whatever reason. The Germanic slingers have opened fire. The Thracian slingers are going to move forward and return fire. Don't know that this is necessarily going to be a beneficial exchange for the Thracian slingers. The block chance is very high on the Germanic slingers. So I would expect that just over time this type of engagement is going to favor Suebians, and both players are very close to being blobbed up here in terms of like kind of right on top of their supporting spear units, which means their supporting spear units are they're gonna block a lot of the incoming fire, but they're still gonna, what they do get hit with, they're gonna take health damage. And there's Thracian warriors right behind these guys too, and they're pretty exposed to missiles. This is not a unit you would want to keep right behind your slingers, because again, the missed fire from the Germanic slingers is already doing damage to these units who don't have a lot of armor and pretty much no block chance. So interesting that they want to stand here and have this this grind out fight. Neither unit is getting a ton of kills on the other. I mean, the Germanic slingers are completely untouched. In fact, I don't know if the Thracian slingers have gotten a single kill. 0 kills, 0 kills, 0 kills. Yeah, 0 kills for the Thracian slingers. So I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, you definitely don't want to be standing apart from Germanic slingers in a fight that's actually, I think it's just ever so slightly uphill for the Germanic slingers too. And the Woden spear are going to have a pretty good block chance here too. But yeah, Germanic slingers are they're like a missile sponge. That's what they're best used for. They don't do a ton of damage until maybe late game because they only have 20 damage. But I mean, they are brutally effective in a skirmish just because their block chance is so high. They're not a unit to be underestimated. So now the Thracians are going to charge. I'm absolutely certain that the Wodenaz spears will pull away, and then you can see the Sarmatian horsemen coming out, looking to interrupt the Thracian warriors, no doubt. Let's see if that happens. Indeed it does. Now, Thracian warriors do have a pretty sturdy bonus versus cavalry, and if the cavalry does not get a good charge, they are going to get properly torn apart by the Thracian warriors. So I'm not sure if this is a good move for the Suebi or not. Again, it depends on the effectiveness of the charge. You can see that they're already dropping units fairly quick here. They did do the disruption, though, and it allows the Bloodsworn to get a nice fast charge here. So the Bloodsworn coming in on fast charge. So that will definitely help them against the Thracian warriors who are not up to full speed again. But the Thracian warriors, again, just pound for pound going to be a better unit. So they'll still do some damage, but the Bloodsworn are going to clean up what's left of the Thracian warriors. And they're going to get a second fast charge here right in the center. It looks like the Berserkers are under fast charge too. Let's see what happens. These Bloodsworn are going to charge the spears. That'll be an easy fight for the Bloodsworn. And then these Bloodsworn, still under fast charge, are going to push up the center. If they could get a charge on the Thracian nobles, that would be a pretty nice exchange. Even though they're going to die, you want to use that fast charge. Nope, fast charge is gone now. But getting their javelins off, too, not a bad deal there. Now, I'm not sure about charging these cavalry into the Thracian nobles. I'm pretty sure this is going to be near instant death for the Sarmatian cavalry here. Yeah, not sure how Sarmatian cavalry ended up in this fight, but they did. They are going to get chopped up pretty bad at the hands of these Thracian nobles. Yeah, the Thracian nobles didn't take any losses and just absolutely destroyed Sarmatian horsemen. The Bloodsworn here got a few kills, but are now going to get destroyed. So let's see what's going on the flanks. You got Bloodsworn still out here trying to catch the slingers, so nicely done. But again, the Thracian nobles are just they're gonna hack these Berserkers to bits. I don't see that being a good fight for the Berserkers. Thracian cavalry or Thracian horsemen interrupting the Swordmasters, which is a nice move. They want to keep those guys away while they're trying to deal with other units. These Bloodsworn are already causing big problems. Let's just kind of see. Yeah, the Sarmatian cavalry should not be getting tangled up with the Thracian wars. Now over here, this Thracian Royal Cavalry just gets caught by a spear levy and is not paying attention. So this is a huge mismicro by the Odrysian player and losing a very expensive unit in the process to a very cheap unit. So, and it's actually going to die now because there's cavalry. Wow, so a Thracian cavalry just completely wasted there. Now back here, the Thracian horsemen are trying to get to some of the skirmishers, but there's still Sarmatian horse support. So I'm not sure what the rush was here with the Thracian cavalry, and there's two more that popped out of hiding. These Germanic slingers ought to be their target, like basically just ignoring anything else they can, because this is a waste of Thracian cavalry right here too. Now let's watch what happens. Swordmaster on the Thracian noble. The Thracian noble, I would think, would pretty convincingly win this battle as long as it gets a good charge. So it's got Headhunt and Battle Rhythm popped, and the Swordmasters appear to have a different attack target because they just pulled right through. I don't know what the point of that was, but again, the Thracian nobles are they're gonna really make them eat that. A couple of weird things happening in this battle. I don't know if it's maybe a replay glitch of some sort or what. Yeah, the Thracian Oathsworn over here chasing a spear unit. They're being hit by Germanic slingers again. These Thracian cavalry here really need to get over here in order to try and correct that, so we'll see what happens. Right now it's looking decent for the Suebi, though this Swordmaster got properly wrecked by... Yeah, got properly wrecked by the Thracian nobles. And these Thracian nobles, if they charge the spear levy, can insta-wreck it too. The spear levy should try to stay away from this engagement at all costs. Yeah, that spear levy is now dead. Very, very, very dead. Like, very dead. I don't know if we can put enough emphasis on how dead the spear levy is at this point. Let's see, so the Thracian noble general here. Yeah, now this is what I'm talking about. You want to get these Thracian cavalry into these Germanic slingers, and you're going to want to keep these Thracian nobles away from those Germanic slingers, because that's going to be your only chance for late game. Again, Thracian nobles are decent versus cavalry. Some of the Germanic cavalry out here chasing slingers, and then this noble rider charging into the Thracian noble general. The only good thing here is you're going to get javelins from this Germanic scout rider, but otherwise that's not going to be a favorable engagement for the noble riders. But again, the javelins are good. I mean, javelins into the back of a relatively low armor unit as it is. low block chance. No block chance when you fire from the back, of course. Thracian slingers now, though, are going to get hit by the Germanic scout riders, and this is the kind of thing that they excel at. So that's very bad for the Thracian player. Now, again, nice tie down here by the Thracian cavalry, killing quite a few Germanic slingers, but they're going to want to just get away from this fight and keep their mobility alive at this point. That's really what you want to do. If you can keep your mobility alive just to keep the Germanic slingers off balance, your infantry can tank this fight out. Germanic scouts take a couple of losses, but they're going to get away right there. And again, over here, just leaving this cavalry in to the death, definitely not the move that they wanted to make. I understand they're trying to get these Thracian nobles into combat, but a shattered, yeah, it's a routing Thracian cavalry. If that Thracian cavalry comes back into combat, that could play a huge role later in the game, because these Germanic slingers are also going to be coming back into combat. So this is going to be a pretty close fight. There is Germanic cavalry left, but none of the Suebi infantry at this point has a prayer of standing for more than a few seconds against the infantry. Now, these Thracian slingers going to get killed by scout riders. Again, very bad situation. But this Thracian cavalry now back into the fight and needs to be reactivated as soon as possible. And then the Germanic slingers need to be used as much as possible. Good charge by the cavalry, but again, I mean, this is a Thracian noble. If you don't kill it, retreating from it is going to get a ton of your units killed, and this Bloodsworn is going to get chewed up. So again, now you can see the Suebi general getting beat apart pretty bad. They use Pride ability on the Noble Riders and the Sarmatian Horsemen, which is not a bad plan, but again, there's not a lot of armor on the Thracian nobles. I mean, they do have some. It's not gonna do nothing, but retreating from a unit with a +15 versus cavalry, as you can see, routes the Sarmatian Horsemen and the Noble Riders. So now the Suebi get put in a slightly tougher position. You've got a pretty healthy Thracian noble out here and a Thracian cavalry alive that mopped up the last Suebian cavalry, and now you've got wavering amongst the Germanic slingers. Those Germanic slingers are really the only prayer left for the Suebi, so they're going to have to hope that those slingers stay alive. Let's take a look at some of these units and just kind of see what they're doing up close. So obviously being chased by very tired Thracian units, the slingers are going to try and pull back and get shots off. This is exactly what they should do. But eventually the Thracian cavalry is going to put pressure on them. I would think you want to kind of slowly swing the Thracian cavalry all the way out around the flank, and then try and pin the slingers in between cavalry in a hard place. We'll call the Thracian nobles the hard place. Looks like there's a regrouped spear unit here, Wodenaz spear. But yeah, they're not going to want to fight the Thracian nobles, not at all. Same thing here, so 2 Wodenaz spears are all that remains. Now, they're very good versus cavalry, keep that in mind. These Thracian nobles will get killed by the Germanic slingers soon enough. What? No, what are you doing? No. The Thracian cavalry being thrown straight into the spears. It's going to pull through because it got a little bit of a gap, so that's good. But yeah, not sure why you would want to charge the Thracian cavalry in there, because now it's just going to take damage, and it may not have enough men left to clean up the Germanic slingers. When that's your only unit to clean up the Germanic slingers, you got to be very careful with it. And it should definitely be attacking the Germanic slingers right now while this Thracian noble finishes off the Wodenaz spears. The Wodenaz spears got put into like a shield wall. I don't know that that's really going to help them. They're pretty much dead at this point. Shield wall may delay the inevitable, I guess. But yeah, they're going to die. The Wodenaz spears have a nice shield, and they have pretty good melee defense, which will help them last a little longer and do a little bit of damage to the Thracian nobles, but I can only imagine that it's going to be just that, just a little bit of damage, and sure enough, the Thracian cavalry routed. Now it's actually looking potentially winnable for the Suebians as long as they have enough ammo. But allowing this Wodenaz spear to be engaged by a pretty tired Thracian noble was certainly a mistake. Maybe you had second wind on this unit, but yeah, I mean, you should be able to kite a Thracian noble with a Wodenaz spear, because this is a light spear infantry versus a very heavy melee infantry. So the speed difference ought to be pretty significant between the two units, and you would just want to kite and use your slingers. Try and split up your forces as much as possible so that the Thracians are surrounded. Now again, though, Germanic slingers are not a very high damage slinger. All slingers have a little bit of armor piercing, a little bit more than a bow for the most part. So you're going to see, again, in the late game when health has been chipped away at by other units, the slingers will become a little more deadly. So this is certainly going to be a concerning scenario for the Thracians, and it looks like they're just going to continue to chase the slingers. They don't have a lot of options. Now let's see, 65 Thracian nobles versus 152 Wodenaz spears. Only a mediocre charge from the Thracian nobles. It depends on whether or not they have headhunt. They are taking slinger fire from the flank too, so they will actually probably lose this fight. Probably. I can't guarantee it. Still a very capable unit. It's got 260 kills. It's not dropping the Wodenaz spears at an alarming pace though because of the 106 melee defense. Headhunt being popped now though, so it's going to make this unit unbreakable. And if this unit can pressure these slingers fast enough, it will certainly help here. Now the Thracian general is in rough shape here, getting hit by slingers from all sides. Fortunately for him, these are Germanic slingers and not like Balearics or Rhodians, because they would be absolutely wrecking Thracian noble. But you can see that the Germanic slingers are slowly getting the job done. The loss of that Thracian cavalry, it's going to make itself felt here. So these Thracian nobles have the Wodenaz spears down about 50 men from when they first engaged, which is pretty decent, but because they were taking that sling fire, they're going to die. The headhunt has worn off now. They're exhausted. They have massive casualties, so they're going to rout. This Thracian Oathsworn is kind of torn on what to do. It's chasing slingers, but also not sure what to do about the Wodenaz. So if the Odrysians lose their general right here, it could be pretty bad. The general is dead for the Suebians as well, though. And these units have pretty high morale to begin with, whereas the Suebian units, other than the Wodenaz, have pretty low morale. I'm trying to pin these slingers, but I think these guys are too tired. The general is alive for the Thracians, though. We don't have a general dead. He could die at any moment, though, so if there is a second wind or any other ability he has, they would want to be trying to use it before he dies. And it's going to depend on whether or not there's enough ammo left for the Germanic slingers, and this is smart. Yeah, just don't engage the Thracian nobles, just pull away. These Germanic slingers have their daggers drawn, so they must be out of ammo, and they're going to try and tie down the general. Again, not sure that I agree with this decision, because as long as some slingers have ammo left, you do not want to throw away numbers on this battlefield, because the power bar swinging one way or the other could change the battle. Germanic slingers must be out of ammo because they're charging in melee. Because, I mean, no matter how many Germanic slingers it is, they don't have a prayer against Thracian nobles in melee. So at this point, if the Germanic slingers are running low on ammo, then this battle is going to start looking very good. 453 kills on the Thracian noble here. It's going to start looking very good for the Thracians, that is. It's going to start looking very poor for the Suebians. It's very well fought by the Suebians. But I do believe this one's going to go in favor of the Thracians. All that's left is the Wodenaz spear and this one slinger, and based on the ammo for the other ones having run out moments ago, I would assume that this one, yep, looks like these guys just hit that point. So good night, dear Suebians. It was nice knowing you, but against two Thracian nobles, you were so dead. Actually, this Thracian noble routed. No, that's a Germanic slinger. Yeah, you're dead. A silver chevron Thracian noble with 86 attack, and then you've got the bronze chevron here with 79 attack. So yeah, these. But I mean, the Thracian general will probably die here. Probably, it's not a guarantee. I mean, they have huge attack and charge. They're still going to do massive damage to the Wodenaz spear here. Wodenaz spear has pretty good armor piercing damage, and indeed the Thracian noble gets overwhelmed. It's losing decisively, gets rear charged by the Germanic slingers, but there's another Thracian noble inbound. Though I really highly doubt that a rear charge of Germanic slingers will be enough to help favor. The Wodenaz spears are running away. At this point, there's not a lot of sense in running away. I mean, he's gonna try to turn around and charge, but I still don't think it's gonna be enough for a Wodenaz spear. And then the Thracian Oathsworn just ignore the slingers and charge the Wodenaz, which is certainly appropriate. So let's watch this epic clash here between the Wodenaz and the Thracian nobles as they fight it out. Whoever wins here takes the spoils of battle, and also pretty much everything else, because all of their brethren on the battlefield are dead. So all the watches and wallets and shields and whatever else it is you can loot. So there'll be plenty of loot left for whoever's alive here. And no doubt there's going to be plenty of widows whenever they get back to their homelands. So the Woden Spear putting up a decent fight here, but as expected, they rout. So very, very close battle there between the Odrysians and Suebi. Some mistakes on both sides, I felt like there, but in the end, a very entertaining battle. Very much enjoyed that one. Again, don't really understand where the Sarmatian horsemen come from here. If that was something that was allowed to the Suebi during this tournament or something. So yeah, I have no idea what that was about. Very nice kills here on this Thracian cavalry. Very good kills on all the Thracian nobles, which is good. I mean, when you bring 4 of these guys, they have got to pay some dividends in terms of kills, and they did. And if you look at the Suebi, surprisingly enough, the Bloodsworn accounting for a huge portion of the kills. Not bad from one of the Swordmasters here, and you probably need more from this Swordmaster. Pretty decent performance from the Wodenaz Spears here. And then, a fair performance from a couple of the cavalry. Very nice performance, actually, from the Germanic Slingers, because these are relatively cheap units, and getting that many kills is pretty good. So, interesting battle. Lots of kills on both sides. Hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.